Every 3 months, the seasons change. We wait in anticipation for the Olympics every 4 years. But I'm pretty sure you do not set your clocks to count down the next time you have to fill out a U.S. Census questionnaire. But you should. The purpose of the U.S. Census is to count every person in the United States every 10 years. In fact, it is in the U.S. Constitution in Article 1, Section 2. Fun fact, the first census occurred in 1790, just 3 years after the signing of the U.S. Constitution. 2020 marks the first census that could be completed by mail, online, or on the phone. While the census questionnaire has changed a bit since 1790, the reason for the count has remained the same. Count every person in the United States and use that information to make political decisions, and as time went on, a basis of reasoning of providing certain public services, such as roads, schools, housing, and social programs. The census information is organized into blocks, then to block groups, and then into census tracts. Census tracts usually follow government boundaries and contains an average of about 4,000 people. If you're wondering if your name is connected to your information, have no fear. It's completely anonymous. Now, let's get to how the US Census affects us politically. There are two main ways the census affects our political environment. Number one, it determines the number of representatives each state sends to Congress. And number two, helps redraw our federal and state district boundaries every 10 years. What changes have occurred in the number of seats each state has due to the 2010 census? The number of representatives in Congress has been capped at 435 since Alaska and Hawaii joined the Union. The current average apportionment population is 710,767, more than triple than it was in 1910. Based on the 2010 census, the state with the largest district size will be Montana, with roughly 994,000 people, and the smallest being Rhode Island, coming in at around 527,000. While many states' populations have not changed enough to warrant a new apportionment, those are the cream colored states. Check out all of the states in blue that have gained seats, while the green represents states that have lost seats. While some cities in the Northeast and the Midwest empty, states like Texas, Florida, and Nevada are growing. It is critical that congressional seats keep up with this movement. If we all do our part and complete our census questionnaire correctly, representation in government will remain equitable. Now, when populations shift, new political lines have to be drawn. But who draws those lines? No, really, who draws those lines? While the vast majority of states continue to let their legislatures draw districts, there's a growing movement towards alternative approaches to map drawing. The way districts are drawn can have a huge impact on both voters and politicians. It can influence who wins elections, how political power is distributed, which communities are represented, and what laws are passed. Because of these incentives, district lines get manipulated for political gain. 2021 will mark another round of redistricting in the United States. Based on where populations have increased and decreased, states will have to redraw the lines. Currently, 45 of the 50 states have redistricting reform bills in the pipelines. The U.S. Census doesn't just inform political decisions. The results of the census will show where communities need new schools, new clinics, new roads, and more services for families, older adults, and children. The results will also inform how hundreds of billions of dollars in federal funding are allocated to more than 100 programs, including Medicaid and Head Start. The information gathered by the census is used not only by a wide variety of government entities, but other institutions. For example, the Department of Transportation may look at census tract information to see where the best place to add bus routes based on age and activity. Healthcare companies use the census data to help decide if a current hospital needs to expand or plan to where to build the next clinic or hospital in an area that has seen a rise in population. Healthcare programs will use the information to guide their decisions on maternal, child, and elderly care. Businesses also look to the census information to guide their decision on where to develop and what should be there. It provides a rich set of data on the communities they currently serve or those they want to enter. This information includes growth projections and population trends. Business owners rely on census results to make decisions, such as where to open new stores, restaurants, factories, and offices. They will use it to help determine where to expand operations, where to recruit employees, and which products and services to offer. This data is so valuable. I bet it costs an arm and a leg to purchase, right? Not at all. This information can be accessed for the low cost of $0 from the census.gov website. There you can find data on education, employment, and family living arrangements. Every 10 years, the U.S. takes a snapshot of its population. That information is used in vital ways that affect all of our lives. It will help politicians, researchers, nonprofits, and business owners better understand the populations they serve. Now, I hope you are pumped up about the U.S. Census and its importance after this presentation. Filling out the census is one of the many civic responsibilities bestowed on us by our forefathers. Let's make them proud and fill out the census accurately so decision makers will have an accurate lens of America.